Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Because the old man is coming to carry you to freedom. Those are some of the lyrics to the most famous song from that time. I'm Craig Hill, and today I'm here to discuss some important history that we should all know about, the Underground Railroad. We've all heard the stories of the Underground Railroad, and mainly the fact that Harriet Tubman led slaves to freedom. But there is more than just Tubman. The background itself, the music, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 all played a major role in the history. Most of the same songs we sing in church today out of hymn books, they were used around that time also. Some of the main points that I'd like to talk about today will be the background of the Underground Railroad, the importance of the music, Harriet Tubman and her role, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. The Underground Railroad was a network of black and whites working together, offering food and shelter to escaped slaves during that time. As stated on the history page, the Underground Railroad operated late 18th century through the Civil War. There were a group of Quakers that were established by George Washington, our first president. They were known to be the first group to help slaves escape. On the history page, it also states that in 1831, Tice Davis escaped from Kentucky to Ohio, and his owner also often blamed the Underground Railroad. We've talked about the history of the Underground Railroad. Now we'll go on to the importance of music. Some of the songs that were used played such a significant role in the activities of the Underground Railroad. There was a book titled The Music of Black Americans, written by Aline Southern, that stated that the purpose of the songs were to alert slaves that the conductor was coming. They also provided secret messages, as in which way to go, left, right, north, south. There were also map songs like Follow the Drinking Gourd that I started out with, that it meant to follow the Big Dipper to freedom. We've talked about the importance of the music. Now we'll move on to Harriet Tubman, the most famous conductor. Considered one of the most important leaders of that time, in an article titled The Race for Freedom, Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad Network through New York, it was said that she escaped Maryland in 1849, and after that time, for 11 years, she helped slaves escape. Tubman also told audiences that she helped to free 50 to 60 slaves during those 9 trips. She often went as far north as Canada. We've talked about Harriet Tubman. Now we'll talk about the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. Equally important, it was an article that was titled The Fugitive Slave Act in Emerson's Boston. It stated that the most important event of that time was when the Fugitive Slave Act was passed. It forced African Americans in free states to flee or risk capture and be returned back to the South. It also forced their neighbors to unite in defense to prevent them from being transported back to the South. In June of 1864, after the Civil War, the law was finally repealed by Congress. Again, there is more to the Underground Railroad than what we were told growing up. The background of the Underground Railroad, the music, the Fugitive Slave Act, and of 1850 also played a major role. In conclusion, we've all heard about Harriet Tubman as the most famous celebrity conductor leading escaped slaves to freedom. But after careful research, it's safe to say that the other network of people, black and white, the music, Harriet Tubman, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 all played a major role in freeing the slaves that escaped from the South.